decided to make my topic on social media simply because it's something that's very prevalent nowadays. It's something that everybody uses, and I guarantee you it's something that everybody has on their cell phone. Things have gotten so bad to the point where nowadays they have something called the Bergeron Facebook quiz. Social media has become very addictive to the point that people use this every day, and it's basically a daily dose of social media, social networking, and there's also challenges for people to make to see if they have, to see how long they've lasted without taking it. So basically how this works is if you answer at least 4 questions with always or often, you're considered a Facebook addict. And that's 4 questions. If you answer 4 questions out of 9, I believe. Things have been they've been used so often that nowadays people use, or adolescents have admitted, according to Brandon Gale, people have admitted to using Facebook on the toilet. 31% of adolescents use Facebook on the toilet. And I think this is important to us because us as students and being this generation where we sort of boomed with MySpace, Facebook, and all that stuff, this is very integrated into our daily lives, and I think as students and as individuals and working people, we should really know about the effects that come with this. So my thesis and my point about my speech is social media really does have its negative effects, and we should all become aware of this and how this affects us in our daily lives. So I will explain this in 3 different points. I will go ahead and explain this and how it affects us, our productivity, and my second point is how it affects our interpersonal and intrapersonal skills, the way we see ourselves and the way we interact with others, and thirdly, how it affects our privacy. Okay, so my first main point is productivity. And oh, there you go, and that was that stuff, the social Facebook cigarettes, which was from part of my intro. Okay, so my first main point is productivity. As students, we often use this, has become an issue when it comes to studying. And honestly, like, what do we use Facebook for, or social media? We use it as a pastime, and most of the time it's something that we spend too much time on, simply because it's always nagging us and it becomes really habitual. Facebook is designed in a way for it to sort of call us back. And for example, this picture, it says, "Please Facebook, I'm trying to work here." Like, that's what I feel all the time, and I'm pretty sure everybody here could relate to that. And according to a website called procon.com, they had a research studies on there, and it said that students who use social media or they try to study with social media actually have 20%, they do 20% less or bad compared to people who don't use social media. And they've actually recorded or observed their GPAs, and people who do use social media tend to have a 3.0 compared to people or students who don't use social media where they have a 3.8. So as you can see, this really does affect, and there's research studies that have been made to observe that. And another example of how it affects us is basically us in class. I mean, I've seen this Dr. Chi, Professor Chi, take our phones or ask us to put it away because it's so tempting for all of us. Even when we're in class, we can't even put it away for about 90 minutes. And apart from being students, social media is also very used on the job. Even myself personally, I used to have an office job for the longest time, and it's actually a fact. According to Brandon Gale also, they said that 60 to 80% of people when working actually cyberloaf, and it takes them about 23 minutes to recoup from browsing the web, being on Tumblr and all of that. So first point is that it distracts our productivity, and it's really nagging for us, and it's hard to get away from. And my second point now is how it affects us interpersonally and intrapersonally, and this can mean a lot of different things. Because first of all, people use social media, or they tend to use social media firstly in order to reach out to people and branch out and have friends. But it also creates isolation because all our relationships are based online. So instead of having real friends in life or in person, people get very attached to that, and then in the end can't find people to hang out with in in real life. And often we just use FaceTime or try to use FaceTime to hang out with people, but it's not face-to-face individual time. Instead it's like FaceTime, iPhone, FaceTime. And it's not the same thing. And that in the end actually creates disconnect with the way we hang out. Sometimes people, when you're in person, you don't know how to talk to somebody else because you sort of feel socially awkward instead of sending them a message through text or something else. And according to Social Work Today, by a research study that I found by somebody named Dr. Green, it had no date, so it was just a research article I found online. It said that 47% of people from the ages of 18 to 34 actually even use their cell phones while they're with somebody else or eating with family, which also, makes it a distraction for people you hang out with in person. When you're having dinner, or when you're eating alone, or when you're out, instead of trying to socialize with people around you, you're just scrolling to your cell phone because you have nothing else to do, or just as a distraction. And that in itself also keeps creating loneliness or depression. And apart from that, it also costs you your time. And the thirdly is social media also affects your privacy. So not only does it affect all those things, but privacy. So once you put things on cyberspace, you can never take anything back. And nowadays there's actually trainings by the IRS, according to Procon.com in 2009, where they stated that they have IRS agents go into Facebook training to see people's or their clients' cases to try to solve the case. So they're sort of spy on you to see if you have money or spend it through online. Nowadays, they even do background checks when you're applying for a job. They will check your first name and last name to see if you have a Facebook, and that's something that they check nowadays. And according to Procon.com as well, it was a very informative website. Facebook was actually named in 1/3 of all divorce cases in 2011, so it's very prevalent for everybody else. And it causes identity theft too with the scamming and all of that stuff. So just to restate again, it affects your privacy, your interpersonal skills, and your productivity. So hopefully all you guys remember to at least log out or to limit your usage, because it really does affect you in more ways than it can be productive.